Assalamu alaikum. Today, on Noran Academy, we discuss the principles of ethical hospitality in Islam through a timeless story that teaches us about mercy in commerce. If you benefit, please support by subscribing and sharing as a sadaqah.
When we think about the Islamic Golden Era, we often picture these incredible trade routes, these arteries of civilization, just bustling with goods and knowledge. But there was something else flowing along those roads, something just as important. It was hospitality. And it wasn't just about providing a service. It was about creating a sacred connection between strangers, turning a weary journey into a moment of peace.
And this brings us to the story of a man named Ibrahim. He was the keeper of a simple caravanserai, a roadside inn. But he ran his inn on a really profound belief. He believed that the most valuable thing a traveler brings with them isn't the coin in their purse, it's the trust they place in their host. This wasn't just some catchy slogan for him, it was everything.
So let's dive into the first big principle we can learn from Ibrahim's story. And that's this idea of hospitality as a sacred duty, an amana, or a trust, that comes directly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This idea is woven right into the fabric of our faith.
See, for Ibrahim, giving shelter to a traveler wasn't just a nice thing to do, some optional act of charity. No, it was an obligation. It was tied to the traveler's dignity. He used to tell his staff every single day, "A traveler is far from home. Do not make their distance feel heavier." When you think like that, a simple business transaction becomes an act of worship. You're not just serving a customer, you're honoring a right that our Creator established.
But you know how it is. Any principle, no matter how noble, is going to be tested. And for Ibrahim, that test came when the market created a huge opportunity for profit, putting his deepest beliefs right up against the pull of worldly gain.
It all happened during the busiest trading season. The roads were just packed with merchants, pilgrims, everyone. Suddenly, the demand for rooms and food went through the roof. And what did the other innkeepers do? Well, they immediately doubled their prices, taking advantage of the situation. Even Ibrahim's own advisors were telling him, "Look, this is just good business. Charge what people are willing to pay." So the choice he had to make was crystal clear, wasn't it? On one hand, he could stick to his principles, maintain a fair price, uphold the traveler's dignity, and build trust for the long run. Or he could go down the other path, exploit people's needs, profit from their helplessness, and make a quick buck. This wasn't just a choice about money, it was a choice about his character.
And in that moment, a moment that would truly define his legacy, Ibrahim made his decision. He put his principles way ahead of any potential profit. He chose mercy over his margins.
What's really remarkable is just how practical his ethics were. He didn't just say no to raising prices, he actually created a system of justice. His prices stayed exactly the same, he rationed the food fairly so that everyone got something, and he made sure that the most vulnerable, families with kids, the elderly, were taken care of first. Of course, this completely baffled the people who only saw a chance to get rich.
When people asked him, why would you pass up on all this easy money? His answer was just so profound. He understood this deep spiritual truth that any wealth you get by taking advantage of someone's difficulty, well, it has no barakah in it. It's missing that true multiplying blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It might look like provision, but it's a provision that carries a spiritual weight, more like a curse than a blessing.
So, what happened next? What was the long-term result of taking such a principled stand? Well, it reveals something incredible about the true nature of provision, of rizq.
Now, he probably took a financial hit in the short term, for sure, but word of his integrity, it traveled faster than any rumor. That trust he earned became his most valuable asset. Pretty soon, merchants and travelers started planning their entire journeys just to make sure they could stop at his inn, the one place they knew, without a doubt, they'd be treated with fairness and dignity.
But his principles were tested again, this time in a more subtle way. A rich investor, hearing about his amazing reputation, came to him with an offer. He said, "Let's partner up. We'll build a huge, luxurious inn." It sounded great, but there was a catch. The investor wanted higher, flexible prices, a model designed to squeeze out maximum profit, especially when people were in a tight spot. It was a temptation to swap his mission of serving everyone for a new mission of providing luxury to a select few.
Ibrahim turned down the offer. And that night, as he was reflecting on what happened, he came to this incredibly powerful conclusion. He realized that any comfort, any success that's built on the desperation of other people, that's not a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's actually a heavy weight on your soul. It's a burden.
So this story of Ibrahim, it's not just some nice tale from the past. It is a timeless lesson, and it has so much to teach us about how we live our lives right now. His legacy of mercy is a challenge for all of us, in whatever work we do.
When you boil it all down, the story teaches us that in Islam, your business is not separate from your faith. It's a chance to live your faith. True entrepreneurship isn't just about serving customers or hitting profit targets. It's about carrying the needs of others with real compassion, with mercy, and seeing the trust they give you as a sacred responsibility.
And that leaves us with a very important question to think about in our own lives. It doesn't matter if you're a doctor, a mechanic, a landlord, or you own a shop. When people are in need, when they depend on you and your service, what will you choose? Will your prices be based on convenience, or will they be based on a commitment to protecting the dignity of another person?
Presented and created by Norden Studio.